made it. Now people are like, it should be abolished.
Yeah, but it shouldn't be abolished though, because it's Shedeur's one person, and I heard you saying, right. I mean, you can argue his case, but there's other guys that make the Pro Bowl, like that's an honor to them. Mm-hmm. You know, and there's some guys like that's not gonna be in the Pro Bowl that's probably mad about that. So like I think we're having two different conversations because this is a honor for players, like the superstar players of the league, and that's part of putting in your bucket list. I'm an all pro. Okay, cool. I'm a champion. Oh, cool. I'm a Pro Bowler.
Yeah.
So when they asking guys, like, why is he at the end of the year? Why is he trying to still play? They got the playoff seeds. He want to make the Pro Bowl.
Yeah. Also, you'll notice.
Shedeur Sanders just made the Pro Bowl, and suddenly the speakeasy crew had no choice but to pump the brakes on the noise. That one move alone forced a lot of critics to swallow their words, even if they won't admit it out loud. This wasn't about hype, luck, or politics. This was validation, whether people like it or not. Emmanuel Acho literally opened his take by saying, "I don't want Shedeur to get hit directly." That line said everything. Even the loudest critics know this conversation was never really about Shedeur's ability on the field. It's about a broken system that he didn't create, didn't control, and didn't benefit from. And what LeSean McCoy revealed afterward only made that clearer. Because here's the part the media keeps skating past. This Pro Bowl invite wasn't some charity call. It wasn't handed out on vibes. It came after the league ran through a long list of quarterbacks who flat out said no. And once you hear those names, the entire narrative collapses. Before Shedeur Sanders ever got that call, at least 6 quarterbacks declined the invitation. Lamar Jackson turned it down. Joe Burrow wasn't interested. Aaron Rodgers didn't want it. Josh Allen passed. Trevor Lawrence declined. Patrick Mahomes was injured. Drake May couldn't go because he was preparing for the Super Bowl. The list keeps growing, and that matters. So when Emmanuel Acho said, "I don't want Shedeur to get hit directly," what he was really acknowledging is something everyone already knows. This isn't about Shedeur Sanders being unworthy. This is about the Pro Bowl losing value in the eyes of established veterans. The event isn't what it used to be, and the stars treat it that way. But somehow Shedeur saying yes is framed like a crime. That's wild. That's backwards. That's people reaching for reasons that don't actually exist. A young quarterback accepts an NFL honor, and suddenly the microscope comes out. That tells you everything. LeSean McCoy shut that whole angle down immediately. He said, "Man, to be called to go to the Pro Bowl, that's like a dream come true as a kid." He broke it down the way players actually think. Draft day, hearing your name called, winning a Super Bowl.
Like, see, stuff like this, I don't understand. And everybody can have an opinion, right? And he's definitely a credible guy. But you ain't played to be saying stuff like that. Like, it should just be canceled.
Yeah.
A lot of players look forward to that.
Yeah.
Like, yo, I'm a Pro Bowler. You know, maybe the Shedeur situation is different, right? But there's some players that are like, damn, I can't wait to be a Pro Bowl. Guys that are really, really good, they're trying to get over the hump, and they can't, and they finally do. So when you say stuff like, oh, let's just get rid of it, it's like, yo, you diminish the whole thing of players striving to be the best they could be. I want to be a Pro Bowler. I want to be an All-Pro. Them things all matter. That's why when I hate when people are like, oh, at the end of the year, you know, why they put this player in there to get his 1,000 yards or get his... Because he got dreams. He got stuff on his bucket list.
Yeah. He's
a player. He just didn't want to become a player today. He been want to be an NFL player, and coaches understand that. So sometimes we got to just, and it's hard to do sometimes, but put yourself in the player's shoes. A Pro Bowl is like a award. It's like an honor. Damn, I achieved that. You know, all the players in the NFL, they picked a couple of guys being an all-star game. Like, an all-star game should mean something.
It should.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
it should.
When I hear stuff like, yo, decision of getting rid of it and this and that, it's like we're going too far.
Those are the moments. And when that Pro Bowl call comes, you don't overthink it. You say yes. McCoy made it clear. You don't turn down an opportunity just because your season wasn't perfect. That's not arrogance. That's appreciation. That's understanding the league. That's respecting the moment. And let's be honest. The NFL has already shown that context matters when it wants to. Tyler Huntley made the Pro Bowl with 4 starts. Drake May made it with a losing record. Nobody questioned their legitimacy the way they questioned Shedeur Sanders. Nobody tried to twist it into a character flaw. So why is Shedeur held to a different standard? The answer isn't complicated. It's his last name. It's the expectations. It's the pressure. It's the fact that people have been waiting on his downfall since before he even stepped into the league. But here's what the critics still don't get. Shedeur accepting the Pro Bowl invitation wasn't arrogance. It wasn't ego. It wasn't tone deaf. It was intelligence. It was maturity. It was a young quarterback on understanding how the NFL actually works. Opportunities in this league aren't guaranteed. Recognition isn't permanent. And moments like this don't come around just because people think you're supposed to wait your turn. Shedeur didn't force anyone else to say no. He didn't game the system. He answered the call when it came. And that's the part the media keeps avoiding. This wasn't about entitlement. This was about timing, context, and respect. Shedeur Sanders didn't embarrass himself by saying yes. He exposed how fragile the criticism really was. Because once you strip away the noise, the facts stand tall. He earned the moment. He accepted it the way any smart player would. And now the same voices that questioned him are suddenly careful with their words. That's not coincidence. That's reality catching up. And this is where LeSean McCoy dropped a truth bomb that nobody was ready for. Shady didn't dance around it. He said straight up that the league may have messed up how they handled the Pro Bowl, but that still doesn't mean a player can't celebrate being selected. He made it crystal clear. You got picked for a reason. You got picked to play. And I'm not about to say I'm not going to do it because of how people may feel. That line hit different. Read it again. Not about to change my decision based on how people feel. That's growth. That's maturity. That's a 22-year-old quarterback. Understanding his career doesn't revolve around pleasing critics who were never going to give him credit anyway. Then Shady took it deeper and told a story about his first Pro Bowl back in 2011. He talked about how he should have made it the year before but didn't. How that always seems to be how it works in the league. The year you deserve it, you miss it. Then the next year you finally get the call. And when that call came, he didn't hesitate. He didn't overthink it. He was excited. Because that's what Pro Bowlers do. They celebrate the moment. They don't apologize for it. They don't downplay it. They don't act ashamed because somebody online might complain. Then Shady said something that completely flipped the conversation. He admitted he regrets only attending 2 of his Pro Bowls. Out of all the ones he made, he wishes he'd gone to every single one. Not for headlines. Not for validation. But for the experience, the memories.
Because guys, and that's one thing I regret. Because I only went to like 2 of them, I think, out of all the ones I had. But I should have went to all of them because it's an experience. Your family gets involved, your kids, like all that, your friends, you make memories. And everybody now is like, they too cool to go, I ain't going to Pro Bowl. Yeah, I made it. Everybody's too cool. So I do think that they got to find a way to fix this, though, because if they don't, it's going to get real watered down. Like real watered down.
Shady, it's
like cup watered down.
It's flooding.
Bringing your family. Letting your kids see it. Meeting other players. Connecting with wives, kids, teammates, people from around the league. That's the part fans never think about. That's the part critics ignore. So when people ask whether Shedeur Sanders should have turned it down, what they're really asking is for him to throw away an experience that actual Pro Bowl legends say they wish they had taken more seriously when they had the chance. That's not wisdom. That's bad advice wrapped up as principle. Emmanuel Acho tried to pivot and talk about exclusivity and honor. He said the Pro Bowl used to mean something and now it doesn't because players with losing records are getting selected. He compared it to being invited to an award ceremony and asking, who else got this award? But here's what he's missing, and this part matters. Shedeur Sanders didn't break the Pro Bowl. The Pro Bowl was already broken. Tyler Huntley made it years ago. According to Otto himself, that's when it became a joke. Drake May made it last year with 3 wins. That already happened. The value was gone long before Shedeur ever entered the conversation. Yet somehow, Shedeur is the one catching heat for it. That's selective outrage. That's targeted criticism. That's taking a system problem and aiming it at one player because he's easy to target. And here's the most telling part of all. Even Acho had to admit it. He said, congrats to Shedeur. You put yourself in a position to be chosen. He acknowledged it. Playing games. Starting games. Throwing touchdowns. Not giving up. Captivating audiences. Moving the culture. That matters. That counts. Shedeur played every game. He started as a rookie 5th-round pick. He became one of the most watched players in the league. That's not nothing. That's impressive, especially on a rebuilding team. Now let's address the stat line since critics love to hide behind it. 7 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Not great. Fair. Nobody's pretending those are classic Pro Bowl numbers. But context matters. Being a 5th-round rookie thrown in as the Week 1 starter for the Cleveland Browns matters. Playing behind one of the worst offensive lines in the NFL matters. Receivers dropping key passes all season matters. A previous regime setting the situation up poorly matters. When you add the context, Shedeur's rookie season looks very different. And let's be honest about one more thing. The Pro Bowl hasn't been about stats for years. It's about popularity, fan engagement, marketability. And by those standards, Shedeur Sanders is absolutely Pro Bowl worthy. He's one of the biggest draws in football right now. If the Pro Bowl is about creating an event fans actually want to attend and watch, then Shedeur Sanders being there makes perfect business sense. There's really no debate about that. One of the clearest points came from the speakeasy when Keyshawn Johnson laid it out plainly. He said the Pro Bowl has turned into a family-friendly event, a place you take your kids, a chance for fans to meet their favorite players at a cheaper price than a regular season game. That's the reality now. This isn't about grinding film or legacy-defining football anymore. It's about access. It's about experience. It's about entertainment. And if that's the direction the Pro Bowl has gone, then Shedeur Sanders is exactly the type of player the NFL wants, front and center, because nobody draws attention like Shedeur Sanders right now. Nobody brings casual fans, young fans, and culture-focused fans into the conversation the way he does. That's not opinion. That's measurable. And the irony of this whole situation is wild when you really think about it. Critics are furious that Shedeur made the Pro Bowl because they claim it diminishes the honor. But the honor was already diminished long before his name ever came up. And the reason why is simple. Elite players keep declining. Why do they decline? Because they don't think it's worth their time anymore. That's the truth nobody wants to say out loud. So the Pro Bowl is stuck in this vicious cycle. It's not prestigious enough to attract top-tier star. That makes it feel less special, which leads to even more stars declining, which makes it even less prestigious. That's the spiral.
Man, to be called to go to the Pro Bowl, that's like a dream come true. Like
It's a kid's dream, yeah.
As you a kid, there's some things you dream about. Going to the NFL, draft day, getting your name called, winning the Super Bowl, playing in the snow. Like all them things you think about. So now when you get a call to play in the Pro Bowl, you going to be like, nah, because I didn't have a great year. Or maybe I probably shouldn't get this because of I got picked. So for some reason, like I got picked to play.
Yeah.
And I'm not about to say I'm not gonna do it because how people may feel. Nah, I don't agree with that. I remember my first Pro Bowl. In 2011, I was nice, obviously. And I forget the running back. I think his name was Mike Turner from Atlanta.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, man, listen, OG. I'm thinking in my head, like, you was good and all that, but your time's up. Like,
Yeah.
And they didn't give it to me. It's always the year you're supposed to go, you don't go. It's always the next year after that. So I was
can
mad.
I say this?
But they didn't call me and say, yo, you about to go? I'd have been happy as
But
hell.
peep this too far.
And somehow, Shedeur Sanders is expected to fix that by being the one player who says, nah, I'm too good for this. That wouldn't help anything. That would actually make the problem worse. If Shedeur said no, it would just be another headline proving that nobody respects the Pro Bowl anymore. Another rejection. Another reminder that the event can't get players to care. But instead he said yes. And that matters. He gave the league a draw. He gave fans someone they actually want to see. He gave the Pro Bowl relevance at a time when it desperately needs it. That helps the event. It doesn't hurt it. Emmanuel Akko tried to use a speaking engagement comparison. He said if he's invited to receive an award or speak somewhere, he asks who else has received it. If it's nobody notable, he declines. If it's respected names or former presidents, he accepts. But that logic falls apart here. And here's why. The Pro Bowl roster still includes real elite talent. Josh Allen is there. Justin Herbert is there. These aren't random names. These are franchise quarterbacks and all pro-level players. So Shedeur isn't walking into a room full of unknowns. He's sharing space with some of the best players in the AFC. The issue isn't who's there. The issue is who chose not to be. And that responsibility doesn't fall on Shedeur Sanders. That's on the veterans who declined the invitation. That's their decision. You don't get to skip the event and then complain about who replaces you. LeSean McCoy explained this perfectly, and he didn't sugarcoat it. He said no matter how you personally feel, you got to put Pro Bowler in front of that name before you say it. That's how the league works, whether people like it or not. Whether the stats were perfect or not. The players ahead of him chose not to go. That moves Shedeur up the list. That's the pecking order. And once you're selected, you're a Pro Bowler. End of discussion. No footnotes, no debate panels, no think pieces. Shedeur Sanders is a Pro Bowler. That's a fact. And here's the part that really drives critics crazy. That title is permanent. 20 years from now, nobody is going to dig through old debates and Twitter arguments. They're going to look at his resume and see 2026 Pro Bowl listed among his accomplishments. No asterisk, no explanation, just the recognition. Just like Shannon Sharpe said on Nightcap, nobody remembers alternates 5, 10, or 15 years later. They remember who made it. History doesn't pause for context arguments. And honestly, good for Shedeur Sanders. Good for him for taking the opportunity when it came. Good for him for not letting critics dictate his decisions. Good for him for understanding how short NFL careers really are. Because that's the part fans forget. Careers don't last forever. Accolades don't come back around. You don't get a redo. When the league calls, you answer. Even the Speakeasy crew admitted it. Players who think they're too cool for the Pro Bowl now are probably making a mistake. Shady himself said he regrets not going to all of his. He wishes he'd taken every chance. Because it's about memories. It's about relationships. It's about experiences you don't get once the helmet comes off for good. That's not weakness. That's wisdom. And that's the part Emmanuel Acho keeps missing when he tries to separate himself from LeSean McCoy. Emmanuel said if he were a backup linebacker and got invited, of course he'd go because it's above him. But if he were an elite player like Shady, he wouldn't go because it's beneath him. That comparison sounds clever until you actually apply it here. Because Shedeur Sanders is not a backup. He's not a fringe guy. He's not someone hanging onto a roster spot. He's the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. He's a 5th-round pick who beat out veterans and higher draft picks for the job. He earned it. He didn't get handed anything. He walked into the league with pressure, expectations, and a spotlight most rookies never see. He's also one of the most talked about players in the NFL right now. Whether people love him or hate him, they watch him. They talk about him. They tune in. That's influence. That's relevance. And pretending that accepting a Pro Bowl invitation is somehow beneath him just doesn't line up with reality. If anything, saying yes shows how secure Shedeur Sanders actually is. He's not playing ego games. He's not worried about protecting an image. He's focused on building a career, on stacking experiences, on understanding the business side of the league. That's maturity, especially from a young quarterback who already knows how fast narratives change in the NFL. Here's the bottom line, plain and simple. Shedeur Sanders made the Pro Bowl. He earned the right to accept that invitation. The system may be flawed, but he didn't create it. He didn't vote himself in. He didn't jump the line. Multiple quarterbacks ahead of him declined the opportunity. He said yes. That's not a failure. That's not arrogance. That's awareness. The frustration from critics isn't really about the Pro Bowl. It's about timing. It's about expectations. It's about people waiting for Shedeur to slip up so they can finally say, "See, I told you so." When he made the Pro Bowl, they thought they had their moment. But that moment never landed the way they hoped. Even the Speakeasy crew, who are paid to critique, had to admit it. Emmanuel Acho said it himself. I don't want Shedeur to get hit directly. That wasn't sympathy. That was acknowledgement. Acknowledgement that the criticism isn't fair. Acknowledgement that Shedeur is being used as the face of a broken system. Acknowledgement that the outrage is louder than the logic. Deep down, everyone knows this. If his last name wasn't Sanders, this wouldn't be a national debate. If he didn't carry the expectations that come with that name, nobody would be dissecting this decision frame by frame. But because it is Sanders, everything he does gets magnified. Wins get minimized. Mistakes get amplified. Achievements get questioned. And yet, through all of it, Shedeur stayed consistent. He didn't lash out. He didn't clap back. He didn't apologize for existing. He accepted an NFL honor and kept it moving. That matters. So congratulations to Shedeur Sanders on making the Pro Bowl, not just for the selection, but for how he handled everything that came with it. Ignore the noise. Enjoy the experience. Build those relationships. Learn from the veterans. Take it all in. Then come back next season sharper, stronger, and ready to remove all doubt. Because the goal was never to just make the Pro Bowl. The goal is to make it undeniable. And for everyone still arguing about alternates and optics, Here's a reality check. History doesn't remember debates. It remembers accomplishments. It remembers names on lists. It remembers Pro Bowl selections. This is now part of Shedeur Sanders' resume forever. No footnotes, no disclaimers, just recognition. If you're tired of the constant hate Shedeur gets, if you're tired of selective outrage and lazy narratives, if you want content that actually adds context instead of chasing clicks, hit that subscribe button right now. We're going to keep breaking this down honestly. We're going to keep defending facts over feelings. And we're going to keep calling out these ridiculous takes. Drop a comment below. Do you think Shedeur was right to accept the Pro Bowl invitation? Let it be known.